worry too much because we are recording this, and you again will be able to access the recording maybe an hour after we finish our presentation. That gives me enough time to upload. Sorry, that will give me enough time to upload our session today. Okay, so it's 3:01, and like we always do, we have to start on time. I would like to begin by offering this special prayer for all of you, dear teachers.
A prayer for teachers. Giver of all wisdom and greatest of all teachers, look upon our teachers with love. Grant them the resolve to nurture our eager minds and to never give up on us who fall behind. Bless their hearts, for they rejoice when we succeed and encourage us when we fail. Endow them with gentle patience, for the path of learning is never easy. Kindle a spirit of passion in them. It is the flame that ignites the love of learning in us. Help them see the potential in each student. Their belief in us means much more than the grade we make. Instill in them a commitment to keep on learning. It shows us to not fear new knowledge and experiences. Inspire them to touch the future. They influence how big a dream we dream for ourselves. Bless our teachers who have come before, for their work endures to this day. Let the light of your example shine upon all teachers, to build up with their words, to love with their mind, to share with their heart. Amen.
Okay, that is a special prayer for all of you, dear teachers, especially at this time when it has become tougher, more challenging, more difficult because of the kind of generation of kids we're dealing with. Well, I don't need to reintroduce myself. Most of the people here today were with us yesterday. But just as a way of encouraging you to make character formation a top priority, I mentioned yesterday that I started in the Philippines, CEP, Philippines, which is an international affiliate of CEP based in Washington, D.C. Bottom line, we want to get everybody making character formation a top priority. And I'm also tied up with the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts based in the State University of New York. And I am doing Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts Asia. The principle is every human being should have, aside from reading, writing, arithmetic, should have respect and responsibility. Two very crucial virtues that we believe should be fostered, especially among the young people, otherwise known as the Dr. Thomas Licona Institute of Asia. So many of the materials, in fact, I'm going to share with you are from Dr. Thomas Licona, a very good friend, considered as the grandparent, grandfather of character formation, because most of the experts in the field now, all over the world, especially in the English speaking world, were recruited by Dr. Thomas Licona. Okay, so today we are going to talk about creating a kind and caring classroom. And I mentioned yesterday, I will try to avoid too many principles, and I want to get straight into strategies. I want you to finish the session today with so many strategies that you can use inside the classroom, online classes that will foster kindness and caring, and we will be able to um, transform our schools to be schools of character. So we believe in Albert Einstein when he says, trying not to become a man or woman of success, but rather Try to become a man of value. And yesterday, we spent a lot of time talking about the crisis singular, but really, it's a crisis in character on many fronts. We saw, for example, what researchers are seeing among the young people. We are raising right now the probably the most self-centered and stressed out the history of mankind on record. Young kids who are most self-centered and stressed out. And then we are also dealing with a certain culture of hate that is very much prevalent in society, in the environment. And I'm not just talking about the Philippines, I'm talking about all over the world. We mentioned yesterday about primetime news that reports about crimes and corruption and so much evil, and all these fostering a certain culture of hate in the world. And then the glorification of the vulgar. I was just listening to Spotify global chart this morning, and the number one song has the F word. And most of the songs in the top 20 in the global chart in Spotify have explicit lyrics. I mean, you're given a warning there, explicit lyrics inside, and practically more than half of the top 20 songs in the global chart have explicit lyrics, or about sex, or about violence, or have profanities, and that's what the young people are seeing. It's like the vulgar. What is vulgar, what is dirty, is what is being glorified. And then we mentioned about violence in media that the young people are subjected to, from best-selling blockbuster movies to television series to, they are all out there. And then a certain culture of bashing. You know, you go to Facebook, you go to Twitter, um, you go to Instagram, chances are you're going to chance upon someone being bashed with thousands of comments from people all over the world who have never met that guy, but they condemn, and they feel they have the right to contribute to the bashing, to the um, things that they, in fact, will never say face to face to the person if they happen to meet that person face to face. So you ask, then why did you post it in the internet? Researchers will tell us there is such a thing as the anonymity of the screen. Anonymity of the screen, where people post things in the internet, things that they will not say face to face, but they post it anyway because the guy will never be able to answer back, because the person will never be able to reply, because the person, they will never meet him or her ever in their entire life. And so there is that anonymity of the screen that makes people have the confidence to bash, to attack, and that develops a certain mindset among the young people. Well, not even just among the young people. You look at comments even from adults that are uncharitable, inappropriate, outright wrong. And we have been talking a lot about the young people being absorbed in their social media, in their gadget, in their technology, in creating contents for YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and you can have a young person today spending practically the whole day in front of the screen, in front, or using the gadget. And the person doesn't find anything wrong with it. That's just his or her lifestyle now. So we have what we call the self absorption epidemic. Let's do a bit of reality check. The teenagers today, according to research, are now 40% lower in empathy levels than 3 decades ago. And in the same period, narcissism has increased 58%. And we mentioned yesterday teen suicide, rise in cases of teenagers committing suicide. or if not suicide, cases of depression. We're dealing with that now in our classroom with our students. You know, in the United States and in many other places, here is how they respond to the crisis. Okay, here is how many schools around the world, including the Philippines, are responding to this crisis. And some of your schools may be already guilty of this. The officers say, okay, let's install CCTV. Let's install those high-tech cameras that will catch the bullies in school, the students cheating inside the classroom, the misdemeanors of students. Installing cameras, high-tech CCTVs, like as if it's going to improve character, like as if it's going to address directly the crisis. In some schools in the United States, and I know some universities in the Philippines have started doing the same. This is the response. Let's put metal detector at the entrance. Like as if it's going to solve the crisis. Very sadly for schools, some parents say, why will I enroll my son, my daughter in the school just to be bullied? I might as well homeschool him or her. I might as well just teach him or her at home. This is picking up. There are more and more parents who are resorting to homeschooling. They're beginning to lose faith, trust in some educational institutions because they didn't put their kid there to be bullied. This is a concern that we have to address. That's why our topic today is our classroom, our school has to be a safe zone for our students. It's got to be a kind and caring place. We can do it. There are many strategies that we can use, and I'm going to talk about many from Hal Urban, from Rafe Esquith, from Harry Wong, from Ron Clark. You know, we repeated again and again yesterday, we teachers have to model this kind and caring. You will only The only way we can produce kind and caring classroom is if our teachers are kind and caring. The Chinese proverb says, a man without a smiling face should not open a shop. Let me put this in the context of teachers. A teacher who is not capable of smiling, let him not teach. And it's not an exaggeration. A teacher who is not capable of being kind and caring, let him not be a teacher. When we talk about classroom management, we will discuss that, disciplining students without having to resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, terrorizing, which unfortunately we keep on hearing about here and there in one school or another. So, the gurus in preventing bullying will tell us, in order to reduce bullying, one is we've got to change the social climate of the school. That's the kind and caring school. And the social norms regarding bullying. And everyone has got to be involved. This requires the efforts of everyone in the school environment: teachers, administrators, school nurses, other non-teaching staff, the lady selling in the cafeteria, the school bus driver, the security guard, the maintenance men keeping cleanliness in the school, the gardeners, all of them inside the campus will have to take part in creating this kind and caring school, kind and caring classroom. After all, research also tells us student achievement increases when students feel comfortable in their learning environment. I know I have many teachers here in Northfield in the audience today. I've been in touch with a student in your school who left his previous school and transferred to Northfield because he was being bullied in his previous school. And there, where he was being bullied, he ended up just being a face in the crowd. And worse, a below average performer. And then he moved to Northfield last year. And this year, He's even planning to run for student council. He bloomed. He got out of the shell just because he found a safe place. He found himself in a safe, kind, and caring environment. You see the effect of being in a kind and caring environment. It brings out the best among the students. The opposite of that is also true, unfortunately. An unkind and uncaring environment will bring out the worst in people. They fight back. They resort to violence. They resort to even crimes. I mean, all the shooting um, cases that we hear of from the US, the Columbine massacre, the Virginia Tech case of Korean shooting, they're all because of students being victims of bullying. And that's their way of fighting back. That's their way of getting back at the people who made life miserable for them. Bullying brings out the worst in people, just as a kind and caring environment will bring out the best in people. So let's make our schools kind and caring, our classroom a paradise on earth for our students, that the young people look forward to being there. They miss being inside our classroom, which they see as a kind and caring place. They miss the teacher who is very warm, who is very kind, who is very caring. And yeah, that's how it is. One day I was walking along the corridor of a school, and I don't know, for some reason that day God made me feel so light and so happy. And I was walking along the corridor. I was so happy. There was a student coming from the other side of the corridor, and I was feeling so happy, jolly, that I just had to stop and greet the boy. He must be grade 3, grade 4 that time. I stopped and greeted him and said, "So, how are you today?" with my biggest, widest, fakest smile. And he stopped, and then he started crying. And then he said, "I cannot take it anymore. I want to kill myself. I don't know how, but I just cannot take it anymore." Here's a kid who's considering killing himself because he couldn't take the bullying, the teasing, the putting down, the being made fun of by his classmates. Of course, he didn't commit suicide. Of course, he did not get depressed simply because somebody stopped to greet him. "So, how are you today?" The kindness that we express, the caring that we show our students may be the only thing they're looking for at that point in their life, for them to stop thinking about depression or feeling down or even thinking of suicide. And we teachers have got to be the epitome of kindness. Yesterday, when we talked about role modeling, the only effective way to teach character is through the example of our life. The only way that we can teach character to our students is we, teachers, showing it by our example. The same, especially with kindness and caring. I am not a fan of teachers who terrorize, who scare, who resort to frightening students. And the sad thing is, I have met some teachers who do that, who terrorize, and they think they have high standards. They think they are great teachers because when you enter their classroom, the class is very quiet. It's almost like a cemetery. No one dares talk. No one would even dare to recite. They are very scared. And you think, "Uy, it's very effective." No, the students want to be somewhere else. They'd rather be elsewhere than inside that classroom. So, a kind and caring classroom is not only comfortable, it allows the teacher to spend more time teaching and less time handling student conflicts. If there is bullying, if there is teasing, if there is a lot of fighting inside the classroom, one of the first things I will have to look at is, how is the classroom management of the teacher? How is the teacher able to manage the class and create a culture and create an environment? Is the teacher able to do that? If not, then maybe there is something that we need to help the teacher in strategies on how to create a kind and caring classroom. Empathy, in the end, is the solution to bullying. I mean, the absence of empathy is precisely what is bringing about an increase in bullying and what is destroying the kind and caring classroom. And we see here the effects of crisis in empathy. Researchers tell us these are the natural effects if there is no empathy among the students. Our session today is like our way of telling the victims of bullying, hold on, we're going to help you. We're going to make things right. We're going to improve the school climate, the classroom climate, and we're going to make it a kind and caring place. So let's get straight into the strategies because that's what we are after. And I hope with the so many, I'm going to be able to share with you. Your problem at the end of the session today is, where do I begin? You don't need to do all of them. You don't need to even do any of them. But if only I can put in your mind, there are strategies available out there on how to create a kind and caring classroom. Let's explore them. Here are the strategies to win the war. This was created by Dr. Thomas Licona. We're not going to take this because this is specifically for bully prevention. And I think that's one of the courses we're going to have between May 23 and 31. the May series will cover preventing bullying through character formation, and we're going to go through most of the items here in this wheel. But um, Tom Licona says, if you're going to succeed in creating a kind and caring classroom, there's got to be classroom strategies, and there's got to be school-wide strategies. And we've got to involve the parents and the communities, all the members of the community. So let's get straight into strategies. Here are the daily four of Dr. Hal Urban, as he explained it in 20 Things Good Teachers Do. Here are four things that he tries to do inside his classroom every single meeting. Some of these you can do online, some of them will take 1 minute, a minute or two, and it's not a waste of time. Especially when he would do this at the start of the session, and you change totally the atmosphere. You make the students feel at home. You make them feel the warmth of the kindness and caring of the teacher. So here's one of the number one of the daily four. He would ask the students, class, prepare a good news that you can share tomorrow. Or at the start of the class, he would ask, okay, get a partner and share good news, one piece of good news, whether it is such a small thing as I finished the assignment, I was able to do the homework, I did not have to sleep late last night, I did a house chore this morning. One good news. And, according to Hal Urban, after a while, the students start sharing even very intimate good news. My father left a month ago. He came back. The students are just so excited to share even intimate things about their family when they start sharing good news. Or number two, okay, let's have 1 minute, 30 seconds per student. Get a partner. First 30 seconds, tell about someone or something that you are grateful for to your partner. After 30 seconds, the other person will do the same to you. So in 1 minute, they have shared someone or something that they are grateful for. Number three, affirm someone in class. This is what sometimes teachers do when they announce the following are the top performers in last week's unit test. And let's give them a round of applause because that means they exerted the effort. The following students are the most improved. They were doing poorly last month, and now they are even going doing line of nines in the scores, affirming someone in the class. Or Hal Urban will tell them, okay, anyone has a wholesome joke to share for the class? And then the students will laugh at the joke, and that laughter totally changes the atmosphere, totally changes the air, and the students feel more at home, and the daily four becomes something they start looking forward to. The daily four becomes like what makes their classroom a special one, that they are very happy to be there. Okay, here are more strategies from Hal Urban as he explained them in 20 Things Good Teachers Do. And here is the first that he said he learned on the last day of his first year as a teacher. Okay, he taught for 20 plus years, I think 22 years. But on his first year as a teacher, on the last day, as students were submitting their final exam to Hal Urban, here came a girl submitting a test paper. And at that moment, Hal Urban, as he was getting the test paper of the girl, realized something. He realized he doesn't even remember the sound of the voice of this girl. He doesn't even remember talking to this girl. And maybe he doesn't even remember the complete name of the girl. And at that moment, Hal Urban felt very, very bad because he realized He was with his student for 10 whole months, for one whole school year. And he never treated her like a real human being, like you would deal with a human being, having a relationship, dealing, getting to know the person. He felt so bad that at that moment he made up his mind. From here on, I will have to treat every student in my classroom as a human being. And that's when he decided, from here on, I will welcome my students inside my classroom with a handshake. Every single one of them, as they enter my classroom, I would welcome them with a smile, with a greeting, looking straight in the eyes, and with a firm handshake. And he would do that for the next 20 plus years as a teacher. And it's not a waste of time. And he said that is the most important thing he learned as a teacher, because George Isaac Brown tells us, never let the demands of your job cause you to forget that each one of your students is a feeling, thinking human being. For education to be effective, it must be personal. And this is something that we have to realize. Every single student that comes inside our classroom is not just a class number, it's a human being. For us, teachers of Catholic schools, he's a son of God, he's a daughter of God, saved by the blood of Christ, body and blood of Christ. I mean, as Saint Josemaria would say, with the blood of Christ boiling in his veins, in her veins. And that is the student, one of the students entrusted to our care. After all, John Dewey also says the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. Now, I know some of you, especially among us Filipinos, you're already thinking, shake hands, that's not Filipino custom. Okay, like what happened in the case of Hal Urban, some students preferred a high five. Very good. He welcomed them with a high five. Some of them preferred a fist bump. Okay, he welcomed them inside his classroom every single day with a fist bump. Some of them preferred a hug because in the United States, many students don't ever experience a hug from the parents. Maybe because the parents are not there, because the mom is too busy, because the father is too busy. So some of them preferred a hug. Some of you may be thinking, maybe it's more Filipino for the, sign of respect, putting the how do you call this, the fingers on the forehead. Okay, then let it be that way. Now, some of you may be thinking, Mr. Antoy, I have 50 students in my classroom. Okay, maybe the only way you can welcome them one by one is by looking around and giving eye contact to every single one of them before you begin your class. And it will not take you more than a minute. Okay, but never forget that every single person inside your classroom is a thinking, feeling human being. And Hal Urban proved that this is not a waste of time, because he would meet the students 10 years later, 20 years later, and that is what they will remember of him, the teacher who made them feel welcome inside the classroom, the teacher who dealt with them as a human being inside the classroom, not just another class number, but a human being whom he showed respect to, kindness, and caring. So, with that eye contact, the shaking of hands, and yes, the biggest, widest, fakest smile we can ever give them. You know, the first time Hal Urban started doing this, he said many students didn't know how to shake hands. When he would extend his hand to shake like that, he felt like he's holding a dead fish, no life, limb that is almost limp. Okay, but later on, they started learning the proper way of shaking hands with eye contact, with a firm handshake, and with a smile. And that's why it worked. It worked for Hal Urban. It will work for you. It can work for us. Never forget that every person inside your classroom is a thinking, feeling human being whose deepest desire is the urge to be respected, to be considered as
Good morning, Asher Bills.
okay. Some of you may be thinking, Mr. Entoy, that's not my style, this thing of physical Okay, then maybe like what this teacher did, assign one person to welcome, to be like the welcoming committee, and they can take turns. In fact, there are schools in the United States where parents get involved in being welcoming committee. They just stand at the gate, just welcoming students, not just at the start of the school year, but throughout the school year. And you see parents welcoming students coming inside the school totally changes the environment and totally changes the mindset of the people that here you are welcome. Here, you're entering a kindness zone. Here, you are going to be treated as someone special because we will treat you with kindness, with caring. And it's one of the trademarks of some schools of character in the United States. Second, most important thing that Hal Urban did as a teacher, he said, he taught manners and the golden rule. We talked about the golden rule yesterday, and Hal Urban is exactly like that. He would tell the class, if there is only one rule we have to follow inside the classroom, it's the golden rule. We need to teach manners. And this is regardless of the subject you are handling. This is regardless of the subject you are taking care of. To teach manners, to say thank you, to say please, to even be able to say, I'm sorry. In fact, inside the classroom, the teachers should be using many times. Thank you, please. I give my word, sorry, which James Tenson considers as the four pillars of civilization. The place is a civilized place if people know how to use please, thank you, sorry, I give my word. So, students are turning in their assignments. Don't forget to say thank you very much. Thank you very much. They worked hard on it. Some of them even stayed up late to finish it. Never mind if they crammed just to finish it, but they finished it. And so, as we are collecting the test papers, as we are collecting the assignments, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please submit the paper. Please pass the papers forward. Please turn on your video. Please. The teachers should say many times these pillars of civilization. Okay. Now, in the case of online classes, we have a question there posted. How can we express this? How can we welcome every single one of the students, treating each one not just as a screen? Well, like if you have joined the Facebook page group, one of the videos I posted there is what teachers can do to make their Zoom classes more exciting and more interactive. And one of the things that the example that she gave there, the speaker gave there, is acknowledging people. Okay, so we have here now among inside the classroom, Anna Marie, welcome. Hello, Anna Rose. Anita, welcome. Arlene. In other words, just going over the names of the students, acknowledging each one. Great. They are not just screens. They are not just names there. They are human beings that is expecting to be greeted as a human being, to be treated as a human being. Maybe you can even begin your class by saying, okay, can you all turn on your screens so that we can see each other as we start this class? Maybe we can begin the class with a prayer and with everyone's video on, like that, no? So that you are always conscious of the fact that you are not just dealing with a screen, that there are people, real human beings behind every screen that we see. I encourage you to explore that video. Some of you, because yesterday I think I admitted into the group only around 15, 20, and there were 120 of us yesterday, 110. So those of you who have not yet joined the Facebook page, I'm going to show it again later. It's www.facebook.com/groups/schools of character. Okay. And one of the videos, if you scroll down, one of the videos there is how to make your Zoom classes, your online classes, more interactive and more exciting for the students. So teach manners, because if manners were an animal, Hal Urban says it would be an endangered species. And really, it's true. This is from Henry Rogers, because this is true. The young people today, you notice, they, they are not as courteous as you and I were when we were younger. Some of them don't even know how to express that respect for authority. And they answer back without any consideration for the fact that, wait, this teacher you are talking to is someone you are supposed to be respectful towards, someone you're supposed to look up to. So then, we've got to teach manners to our young people, to our students. Here is how Hal Urban does his first day of the school year. Okay, in order to create a caring, kind, and good environment inside the classroom, he would ask the class, okay, class, can you describe to me the classroom you don't like? You don't like. Okay, he would make the students describe a classroom that they don't like, and then students will start reciting, raise their hand and say, sir, I don't want a class that is rude. Okay, he would write these adjectives or this description on one side of the blackboard or the whiteboard. Okay, anyone else? I don't like inconsiderate classmates. Okay, let's write it down here. I don't like disrespectful students. Okay, I'd like to, you don't like that? Let's put it here. I don't like students who use offensive language. Very good. So you make the students come up with descriptions of the classroom they don't like. And then you put that in a list. You put them all in a list on one side of the classroom. Okay, now let's go to the second question. What kind of classroom do you like to be in? And students now will start raising their hands. Sir, I like a classroom that is courteous. The students are courteous. Okay, very good. Let's put that here, the other side of the blackboard or the whiteboard. I want a classroom that is considerate. Students are considerate. Very good. Let's put that here. Respectful. Let's put that here. Polite. Let's put that here. Kind. Let's put that here. At the end of that exercise, you remind the students, class, you were the ones who made up this list, not me. This came from you. Can we now commit ourselves? Can we now commit ourselves to make sure we do not allow these negative things, because you said you don't like to be in a classroom like that we will not allow rudeness, inconsiderateness, disrespect, offensive language, etc. And that now will end up in a poster. No matter how small or big you want it, but it can come up with a poster, and you post it on one side of the room. And then, class, this came from you. You said you want courtesy, considerateness, respect, and politeness, etc. Can we now commit ourselves to make sure we will live this? And that will end up in a poster. Okay, now you have those two posters, the list of those they don't want in a classroom and the list of those that they want to be in a classroom. The next time around that you hear a student being rude, being inconsiderate, being disrespectful, teasing, using offensive language, no need to get angry, no need to get mad, no need to even say anything. It's enough to call the person, John, and then point to the poster, meaning, didn't we commit ourselves at the start of the school year that we will not allow offensive language, disrespect, inconsiderateness? It's enough to call the person John, and then you point to the poster. And everything that you need to say, didn't we commit ourselves? Didn't we say we're not going to allow that? All being communicated just with pointing at the poster. It works. It works. And this is especially perfect when we talk about classroom management, how you can get the students to do what you want them to do without having to resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, getting angry, or even being upset. It works. And it's a very good strategy. So then, let's continue on. According to Dr. Licona, big idea number one, you want to reduce bullying, you want to create a kind and caring school. Well, you have to have a high quality, comprehensive approach to character education, which is the most effective way to develop caring classrooms and schools and thereby reduce bullying. High quality, comprehensive, which means uh, it's not enough to have posters. It's not enough to have those decorations that many schools spend a lot of money in buying from the bookstore, and those decorations that say kindness or caring zone, and then you post them. That's not high quality yet. That's not comprehensive yet. Comprehensive means, yes, all the teachers are involved. We even make the students involved in coming up with programs, activities, or decisions so that we are able to stop bullying. And even the staff in the cafeteria involved, the auxiliary staff, the office staff, they too are all involved in creating this kind and caring environment. That's why I mentioned earlier, while we are not going to tackle this, you've got to have classroom strategies, but also school wide strategies. That is what it means to be comprehensive. And everyone has got to be involved. And all the things that you come up with to create a kind and caring environment should be high quality. So, the 12-point approach that I showed you, that I just flashed in the previous slide, is intentional, deliberately seeking to positively impact character development through every phase of school and classroom life. That even in the cafeteria, there are strategies or things that we put in place so that there is no bullying, so that students treat each other with kindness, so that there is not going to be bullying that happens there, or in the football field, or in the swimming pool of the school, or in the every phase of school and classroom life. In the end, we are really working on improving the school climate, no, the changing the school climate, because this is what the research tells us. Bullying is strongly related to overall school climate. Bullying decreases when the school climate improves and when the students are given a greater voice and responsibility for solving problems and making decisions that improve their school. And I'm going to tackle that towards the end. How can we get the students have greater voice and share with the responsibility of creating the kind and caring atmosphere? But we have to realize this, it's in our hand. Okay, it's not just by chance that suddenly our school is kind and caring. It's not going to happen by chance. We've got to be deliberate, intentional, and even systematic, and I would sometimes even say scientific, in the way we try to create that kind and caring atmosphere. Okay, Dr. Licona looked at many, many programs available in the world to prevent bullying. They studied um, 44 programs that are supposed to prevent bullying. And you know what they discovered? They discovered that programs are effective if, number one, they work to create a school climate where bullying is socially unacceptable. Number two, the programs are effective if they enlist the support of the whole community, not just of one or two teachers, not just of the principal, but everyone involved in the school. Number three, they found that the programs are effective if there is increased supervision of playground and other areas. Number four, if in your school you have very clear, firm sanctions for bullying, that it's in your student's handbook, that it's in the policy, that if a parent comes and asks the principal, what is your policy about bullying? We can point to a document, we can point to a memo, we can point to a write up that we passed on to everyone in school, teachers, parents, staff, and students too. And number five, that the programs found to be effective, they use ongoing messages to help students recognize aggression and support and stick up for victims. So, in other words, the programs also address the bystanders. Then they are effective. However, here's what they discovered. Here is what they discovered. The most effective program they found managed to reduce only 22% of verbal bullying. The most effective program only managed to decrease 23% by 23% or reduce by 23% physical bullying. So our concern now is, wait, what happens to the 78 or 77% that is not effective? That is a lot. In other words, practically all the programs are not enough, insufficient. We need a really effective one, and this is what Dr. Thomas Licona came up with precisely, a program, principles that will address not just 22, not just 23%, but if possible, even 100%. So let's fill in the gap for the missing 80%. Here's the answer he found: a comprehensive character education program which not only seeks to suppress, prevent, prohibit bullying, the negative behavior of bullying, but especially promoting its psychological opposites, which are respect, cooperation, kindness. We've got to have strategies that will foster respect, cooperation, and kindness among our students. Because, yes, this matters a great deal, especially if students spend one third of their life inside our classroom. Um, Sometimes 8 hours in a day they spend in our classroom. Okay, so let's review. The program must be comprehensive. Big idea number two. Aside from the program being comprehensive, we have to have in place that will make the students not just know, it's not enough that they know what bullying is and what kindness is. They have to be made to feel kindness, and they have to be made to practice kindness, knowing, feeling, behaving, actual doing. They all have to be in place in our program, in what we're going to do if we are to succeed in this effort to create a kind and caring classroom. So that's what we have always been told. Good character means you have to know it in your head, you have to feel it in your heart, but it's not enough to just knowing it and feeling it. We have to make them practice kindness. Okay, so James Tenson tells us young people develop character by what they see, what they hear, and what they are repeatedly led to do. Directed practice is the most important part. So then it has to be practical. Students have to be given not just knowledge and the feeling, but the actual practice. And finally, big idea number three is moral virtues and performance virtues should come to play, um, because they go hand in hand. What one is not enough without the other. For example, you look at the list here. On the left side, you have the performance character. And on the right side, you have the moral or ethical character. And in the end, this is what it means to create a smart and good school. No? The students do not just know what it means to be good, and that they um, know what to do. They should know what to be. So doing and being. Without moral character, you will have students, for example, who resort to unethical means like lying, cheating, stealing, and even killing in order to achieve their performance goals. They want to do well, they want to be honor students, but without moral character, they will resort to wrong means like cheating. And this is very sad. When you see a student, honor student, but you know that that student resorts to cheating. But the opposite is also true. Without performance character, we will have difficulty developing our human potential and enacting our moral values effectively. So it's not enough to have that student is so nice, but he doesn't study. No, he's very kind, he's very courteous, but he's lazy. He does not exert the effort. Then it is incomplete. It is not enough. So every school that is trying to be smart and good, we want to develop performance character and moral character, best work and best behavior by creating an ethical learning community. The program must help them to be good and to do good. So it's got to be deliberate, it has to develop moral and performance virtues, and it should cover every phase of school and classroom life, all that we have just so far described about what it means to create a kind and caring school, kind and caring classroom. Especially so because we are now addressing a growing character problem. I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, schools did not have to worry about cyberbullying, for example. Now, schools have to have a policy about cyberbullying, about school bullying. And it's not enough now to say, that's not anymore our problem. It happened in the house. The cyberbullying happened at home. We are not there to supervise. No, but now there is a need to have certain policies in place, certain principles in place in our student handbook, in our students' manual. In the Philippines, for example, especially because of the Anti-Bully Act that was passed into law. Now, the government can go to a school and ask, can we see your bully prevention program as you are required to come up with? By law, there is now a need to come up with this. And cyberbullying is included as part of that. Here's a very sad thing written by a mother. Children remind me of chickens, seeking out the weak and wounded and pecking them to death. They have discovered that my 9-year-old son, who is autistic, is bothered by loud noises, and they scream and whistle in his ear until he cries. And we feel, oh, no one, absolutely no one, should have to go to do anything like this. I mean, some of you are parents. You should never have to worry about your son, your daughter being bullied, being made fun of, being harassed at school, in school. I mean, absolutely no one has the right to take away someone's happiness. Or you read this. Um, okay, when students are victims of peer cruelty, it interferes with their learning. It disrupts their social and moral development. It makes school a miserable experience. It causes some to seek revenge, and it causes others to become depressed and even suicidal. Here's a suicide note written by an 8-year-old, eighth grade girl. All my life, I have been teased. I love you very much, but I just couldn't stand it anymore. A suicide note written by a girl to her parents. We've got to do our part. And for those of you, my fellow Filipino teachers, I'm not just talking about the United States, we're talking of these things happening in our country. We read more and more of news items like this, or news like this: bullying blamed for Batangas province teenager suicide, or we read about cyberbullying pushing a 12-year-old Philam to commit suicide, or now we even read of Filipino boy killing himself over online learning. I mean, all these things, no one has the right to take away someone's happiness. In the United States, this is what the research says: two-thirds of the student shooters had been bullied by fellow students. Okay, well, I've been talking for an hour, and I think it's appropriate that we give ourselves a bit of a break, like what we did yesterday. Let me just share with you some videos as a way of being able to get a little break. Those of you who need to go to the washroom, you need to get water. Um, let's just look at these inspiring videos. When we finish maybe one, two videos, we will continue on with more strategies.
At age 8, I thought that I should commit suicide. Why? Because I didn't have hope. So I tried to give up. At age 10, tried to drown myself in 6 inches or 15 centimeters of water. In my home, I told my dad I just wanted to relax. But really, I wanted to end my life. I had enough.
But it was so hard because people put me down. And I started believing that I was not good enough. I started believing that I was a failure. That I'll never ever be somebody who people would like or people would accept. I couldn't change my circumstance. I couldn't just one day wake up and say, hey, give me arms and legs, I need arms and legs. And I had questions and no answers, and I asked my mum and dad, why did this happen? I asked doctors, why did this happen? They don't know. There are some things in life that are out of your control that you can't change and you got to live with. The choice that we have though is either to give up or keep on going. So what do you do when you fall down? Get back up. Everybody knows to get back up, because if I start walking, I'm not going to get anywhere. But I tell you, there are some times in life where you fall down. You feel like you don't have the strength to get back up. I'm down here, face down, and I have no arms, no legs. It should be impossible for me to get back up, but it's not. You see, I will try 100 times to get up, and if I fail 100 times, if I fail and I give up, do you think that I'm ever going to get up? No. But if I fail, I try again and again and again. For as long as I try, there's always that chance of getting up. Does that make sense? And it's not the end until you've given up. There's still hope. I'm not here today to tell you that I understand your pain. I don't know how it feels to be abused. I don't know how it feels to feel, quote, fat and you've got an eating disorder. I don't know how it feels to have a broken home. I don't know how it feels. But I know how it feels to have a broken heart. And I know how it feels to be alone. But I just want you to know that it's not the end. It matters how you're going to finish. Are you going to finish strong? You will find that strength to get back up like this.
Okay, great. So I think that's a good enough break for us. Let's move on because I want us to get into strategies right away. Here, according to Dr. Licona, are the three secrets of success to be able to create a kind and caring school: staff involvement, student involvement, and parent involvement. And under each of these three, we're going to see strategies. How can we get the staff involved? How can we get the students involved? And how can we get the parents involved in all working together to create a kind and caring school, kind and caring classroom? Abraham Joshua Herschel. When I was young, I used to admire intelligent people. As I grow older, I admire kind people. Okay, so let's talk about how to get staff involved. And when we say staff, we include teachers and non-teaching academic staff and the maintenance men, the auxiliary staff, the security guards, the gardeners. How do we get them all involved? Here is strategy number one of Dr. Licona. Create a touchstone. A touchstone is like the school's mission vision, or it's like a battle cry, or it's like an oath, a pledge that you make everyone in school know and even repeat, recite, memorize, and take to heart that this is just how we do things in our school. That's a that is a touchstone. Develop a touchstone or way that here in our school, this is just how we do things. This is just how we deal with each other. This is just how we look at people with respect, with a sense of responsibility. The best is if it was written with everyone involved, that it was crafted by a committee that is made up of a representative from the students, a representative from the teachers, a representative from the auxiliary staff, non-teaching staff, a representative from the parents, a representative perhaps from the alumni or the graduates, and then they come up with the core values. In most cases, every school already would have their own core values. These are the values that we stand for. These are the most important values for us as a school. It's written all over the place. It's displayed in every classroom. It's posted on most of the um, crucial spots in the school. I'll give you an example shown by Dr. Licona in his book, Smart and Good Schools. At Northridge School, this is a school in the US, we pursue excellence in scholarship and character. We celebrate and honor each other by being respectful, honest, kind, and fair. We give our best inside and outside the classroom. This is who we are, even when no one is watching. And you can have the students reciting this, maybe even with their right hand raised like that, to start every single day. That this is our way. This is just how we do things in our school. Here's another example of a touchstone, the Roosevelt way. There is a way that students here are expected to act and the way that they are expected not to act. It's simply put as that. And the teachers, the class advisors, are made to explain to the students, okay, here in Roosevelt, how are we expected to act and how are we not expected to act? And they are especially summarized by the school's core values. So, to make the touchstone effective, here are four ways that we should implement them or implement it. Number one, visibility. That it's posted in every classroom, that it is maybe at the very entrance of the school. This is how we do things here. These are our core values. And the teachers talk about it. That makes it visible. Visibility does not just mean seeing, it means they also hear it, that it's very much integrated into um, the things that the students do. That's why second is academics. The students are made to write about the touchstone. For example, literature or English class or um, reading class. The teacher asks the students, okay, write an essay or write a reflection paper on how the character in the story that we are studying is able to live our core value of respect or responsibility or caring or whatever it is that we have put as our core values in the school. So, visibility, it is seen, it is present, it can be clearly seen by everybody, including the non-teaching teaching staff. They know it. Number two, those core values are integrated into academics. Teachers find a way of being able to insert those core values in the things that we do related to subjects. Number three, discipline. The staff refer to the touchstone when disciplining. um, John, you did not get to submit your assignment again. Um, what do we stand for again? Responsibility. That is clearly an absence of responsibility. So I'm giving you until tomorrow to make sure you submit. So, um, okay, internet. Okay, sorry, internet got connected, disconnected because there was a phone call coming in. So we integrate those core values into disciplining. They become part of how we impose sanctions or we impose discipline. And number four, we make sure that every new student that joins our school is oriented, is made to understand the way we do things here in our school, our core values. Of course, that also means we make sure that the new teachers, every new staff that is hired, is made to understand what we stand for as a school. And that's why that's the next thing that Dr. Licona puts in the strategy. Please make sure that there is an ongoing professional development, training everyone in school, the teachers, the staff, the non-academic staff, non-teaching staff, of what we stand for as a school, our core values. When you do that, then you have a better chance of succeeding in creating as a kind and caring classroom, a kind and caring school, because you have involved the staff. Visibility like this, you're very clear that you are pushing kindness, that you stand for kindness, that you mean business as far as kindness is concerned, that it is something that you put a lot of importance to. Of course, this is not yet high quality, comprehensive, but yes, visibility matters a lot. As James Tenson would say, the young people are, um, well, what they are made to do and repeatedly led to do. So, all these, um, of course, you can change kindness there to whatever core values that your school stands for. And you can divide those core values according to the quarters or the semesters or the months that there are in the school year, highlighting one value or another. So that's visibility. That is how we get the staff to be involved. Let's go to the second one. Student involvement. Students have to be made to get involved in creating a kind and caring classroom, in creating a kind and caring school, because they are the ones who are precisely um, either the victims if it's absent, or the beneficiaries if it is there. So how then do we get the students involved?
Everyone's taking up. Oh, sorry. He did all of them. Let's try them. He did one
Okay, well, I forgot to explain a bit. This is a case of a student, a new student who transferred to another school because he was being bullied in another school. And this is how the teacher welcomed him inside the classroom, with students being made to choose. Are they going to welcome him with a hug or a fist bump or a handshake or a so? And you can imagine, remember, this is a student who left a school previously because he was being bullied there, and then moving to a new school like this. Imagine what he's going to tell the parents during dinner time that day, how he is so excited to be in his new school where his classmates welcomed him with a handshake, with a fist bump, or with a hug. So make the students involved in creating a kind and caring classroom. And how can we make the students involved? Class meetings. We will also talk about this in the class advisory session. I once attended a seminar in Washington, D.C., and there were so many speakers in the 3 days. And one of the last speakers said, if there is only one strategy you're going to bring home, if there is only one, among the so many strategies that you heard while you were here, if there is only one that you're going to do when you get back, please make sure it is this one. Hold class meetings, because this is how you give students a voice. And this is how you give the students responsibility. They become responsible for creating a kind and caring classroom through class meetings. And class meeting is simply the class advisor meeting with the students, trying to come up with solutions to problems, discussing what are the most urgent concerns, etc. Some teachers, some class advisors may think, I ran out of things to meet about. I ran out of things to discuss in the class advisory. Okay, then Tom Licona gives us 20 kinds of classroom meetings. Class, tomorrow in our class meeting, we will just talk about good news. Okay? Prepare for good news to share with a class. That's going to be the 20-minute class advisory. Tomorrow, we will spend the class meeting in a circle whip. Circle whip means every single student will be given a chance to talk by completing a sentence. For example, here, the teacher is going to write on the board something I like about this class, and everyone is going to be given a few seconds. No objection to what everyone is whatever one is saying, no argument, just express it. Something I like about this class. Okay, and you'll be surprised. You won't believe, wow, majority of the students talked about the fact that we start on time. That's what they like about the class. Wow, I didn't realize that dismissing them on time is what they like best about the class. I didn't realize that the bulletin board is what they like most about the class. That the something I think would make our class better. And again, every single one of the students will be given a chance to contribute, to complete the sentence. No objection, no comments, no snide remarks. Just give everybody a chance to complete the sentence. Or a decision I think we should make is this. Or I'm wondering why. Or something that bothers me, and then blank. Or I wish. All these is giving the students a voice. And then you'll be surprised at what you'll discover, what the students have in mind about the class, about their feelings towards the class, about what they see as a problem in the class. Number three, class, tomorrow in our class meeting, we will have appreciation time. Prepare to express appreciation for one person or another, whether he is part of this class, she is part of our class, or another class, or your parent, or your teacher, or we'll just spend 10, 15 minutes expressing appreciation. Number four, complimenting someone or somebody or something. Number five, goal setting. Especially we do this at the start of the school year. What is our goal? That everybody will pass all the subjects, that nobody is going to fail the school year. Therefore, what can we do to make sure we're able to achieve that goal? Number six, rule setting meeting. Let's set rules about um, order in the classroom, cleanliness in the classroom. And then a few weeks later, let's evaluate the rules that we have set for ourselves. Number eight, stage setting meeting. We have to set ourselves, sorry, for the stage of being able to win in that declamation contest, in that oratorical contest, in that quiz bee. What do we do in order to set the stage for success? Feedback and evaluation. Again, you put certain rules in place that there will be no putting down, no insults, no hurtful remarks, no profanities, no words that are not acceptable, etc. Or our meeting will be a reflection on learning. Number 11, um, every student is going to be given a chance to present, whether it is uh, the best projects of the quarter. Let's have people, the students presenting the best performances, the best submissions, or the best works that were ever done by the students. Problem solving meeting. We discuss with a class, for example, class, I was told by the math teacher that many of you are not submitting assignments. It's a problem. Let's meet about it. Everyone has to be part of the solution. Everyone has to be part of finding solutions to this problem. Academic issues, classroom improvement meeting, follow-up meeting to a previous meeting. So all these contribute to giving the students a voice and then making them feel the responsibility. It's not just the teacher's problem, it's got to be the class's problem. Planning meeting, concept meeting, sticky situations meeting, suggestion box, class business box meeting about meetings. Let's meet about what meetings we're going to schedule in the next 20 days, in the next 10 days. So 20 different types of class meetings. You will never run out of things to discuss with your students. And it's fantastic because that is a way of giving students a voice and owning the responsibility of finding solutions if there are problems or attending to problems um, that we encounter inside the classroom. Okay, so, cyberbullying, for example, if it does happen outside of the school when the students are at home, but it involves our students, and therefore we've got to get them thinking about how to put a stop to cyberbullying, how to make sure no one in our classroom is a victim of cyberbullying. Get students to take responsibility. Counselors, for example, creating anti-bullying intervention teams in every grade level so that if there is any report of bullying, let this team step in and be the first ones to investigate, to address, or even to sanction. They can be given the opportunity to recommend consequences if they find one of their peers to be guilty of um, bullying or cyberbullying, or simply to provide emotional support to the victims. Here's a very fantastic strategy to create a kind and caring atmosphere. And I remember doing it in Southridge. We implemented it, and I know up to now they continue doing it. You know, the freshmen and the seniors spending the day together sometime at the start of the school year to create a young brother, older brother kind of relationship where the students, the seniors, welcome the freshmen. And the whole day they're together. They take lunch that day together. And then after lunch, there is a program. The freshmen have special numbers to present, and the seniors perform songs or dance, or and they play games together. They play friendship games of basketball or football or futsal or dodgeball, spending one whole day to create that bond. And I know many schools have done it, many schools do it, and it totally changes the atmosphere. The freshmen now are excited to get inside the school because they have older brothers that they know, they got to know of, they got to know better during the welcoming freshman day that they spent time together. So it works. It works. You know this, and it's not a waste of time. One day lost for academics just because you have these freshmen, seniors spending the day together. It's not a waste of time. It contributes to creating a whole new atmosphere where students now are excited to go to school. Or we have this case of trans senior, sorry, transition program. Older students are assigned as mentors to freshmen. Um, okay, the school trains the mentors and their freshmen meet weekly. So a buddy system sort of arrangement. Or not one-on-one, but a class, an older class being assigned as the buddy class of a younger class, of a lower grade class, where they get together on a weekly basis. They take lunch together. The older kids help the little buddies, the students assigned to them, with their schoolwork, giving them advice, giving them tips on how to survive that teacher, that math teacher, that science teacher, um, things to be wary about regarding that subject, the most difficult challenges that you should expect regarding that subject. So it's fantastic, you know, when you have a school where classes support each other, students, older ones supporting the younger one. That's a real kind and caring school. Here is um, something that younger kids, younger students especially, will enjoy doing, having a kindness challenge week where the people, the students are given a long list like this of challenges that they can do. And you can even get them to tick off what they have already done. And the challenge is to do as many of them, if not all of them, in that period of 1 week when you are celebrating kindness, smiling at 25 people, slipping a nice note in your friend's backpack, complimenting 5 people, pick up 10 pieces of trash on campus, etc. Let's look at the other side. Helping a younger student, giving a kind handshake to greet a classmate, recycling your trash, hugging a friend, picking up trash outside your school, etc., etc. And then more, sitting with a new group of kids at lunch, reading a book to a younger child, giving an apple or note to your teacher, stepping up for someone in need, etc. And then the last part here, helping your teacher with a needed task, being on time for school, saying thank you to a volunteer, giving your friend a high five, making a friendship gift to someone, for someone new to you, creating your own kind deed. So imagine a school with so many students trying to do as many of this. You are creating a whole new atmosphere that is um, one of kindness and caring, of course, and it becomes part of their system. It becomes a part of everybody's system. And this 1 week celebration of kindness can become, for the rest of the school year, a kindness challenge for the whole school year. Okay, so we've looked at strategies and staff involvement. We've looked at strategies to involve students. Now let's look at a few strategies on parent involvement. And you have the formula for success in creating a smart and caring school. How do we get the parents involved? That's the challenge. A hallmark of a great school is the school's effort to reach out to parents. If the school gets the parents to collaborate, to cooperate, to support, and to push the cart along the same direction as what the school is trying to do with the students, that's a hallmark of a successful school. That is a hallmark of a great school. So if your school has homeschool collaboration, parents' involvement, you're a great school. I mean, you're a cut above the rest because not all schools in the Philippines, not all schools get the parents involved. I have gone to schools where teachers see the parents as people in the opposite side of the fence, where teachers see the parents as enemies, where teachers see the parents as opponents that they have to avoid, that they have to be freed of. That's not a good school. But if you are a school that gets the parents to come as often as you can make them come for school activities, for mentoring, for class observations, for volunteering work to help the school, for meeting with the teachers in order to discuss how we can better help. That is a hallmark of a great school. How then do we get the parents involved? First, there's got to be good communication line with the parents. Realize they are the primary educators of the children. We are just here to help them, especially in giving the students, in giving their children what they are not capable of giving, like the academics, like the subjects, because we are experts in that. But the parents are the ones who should be the primary educators. They say that by the time a kid comes inside our classroom, that kid should have already learned at home respect, responsibility, hard work, kindness. The kid should have already learned all this at home. This is not what we're seeing sometimes. We have students coming inside our classroom and he is soft. He complains. He doesn't know how to work hard. He complains about the slightest assignment that we get. We need to talk to the parents. We need to get the parents involved in helping this kid learn respect, kindness, hard work, etc. So our job is to reinforce the character virtues that homes are supposed to be teaching. Okay, first, expect the parents to participate. We've got to have that expectation that they didn't just deposit their children to school and they expect us to do everything. No, we've got to orient the parents. Good schools would even make the parents sign a contract that says they are making themselves available for the schools, for talks, for get-togethers, for symposia on parenting, for that they are going to find time to be able to meet with the teachers should there be a need to discuss how we can better help your son, your daughter. Expect parents to participate, make them sign a contract, orient them from the very beginning that when they enroll their son, their daughter in our school, you are also enrolling yourself and making yourself part of the big adventure of forming your children. Get the program to the parents. We've got to have these newsletters, memos, manuals. A great school would have even parent manual. I mean, all schools would have faculty manual, right? Most schools, if not all, would have students handbook. But if your school has a parenting manual where you talk about your values, your core values, what you stand for as a school, what you expect the parents to do when they enroll their children, you are a good school. You're a great school. And if you don't have that parenting manual yet, maybe this summer break for us here in the Philippines, this summer break may be the best time. If you are going to be a kind and caring school, we've got to have that information passed on to the parents through that newsletter, through that manual, through that handbook. Okay, there's a message that appeared. My internet is unstable. Anyway, as I mentioned yesterday, and I also said earlier, we are recording this so that whatever happens to our internet connection, you can access the recording. And I checked the recording of yesterday. It was perfect. There were no lags in the internet connection. So you will be able to um, catch whatever you may have missed because of my internet connection or your connection. Somebody already messaged me that he has problems with his connection. No problem. Don't worry yourself too much about that. You will have the video, and I will make that available for the whole month. So at any time you can access it, and sure, share it even with your friends whom you want to um, understand what you want to be able to do in your school. Or come up with assignments that will involve the parents in that homework. For example, an assignment given by the language teacher to the student. Okay, class, who are five of your heroes and why? And I need you to come up with a list with your parents. Okay, get inputs from your parents, the five of your heroes. With that, you are getting the parents aware that here in this school that you enrolled your son, your daughter in, we talk a lot about character. We do value character. We teach character. We are serious about giving character formation. Or make the parents come up with a list, make the student come up with a list, and then you meet with your mom, your dad, compare and discuss your lists. Here's what a grade six boy said. I was a bully before I came to this school. I used to make little kids cry. When I met Mrs. Brown, I changed. I'm not a bully anymore because Mrs. Brown taught me about character. The point here is, teachers, we are in a position to actually really create the kind and caring student or students or classroom that we have been talking about. Please realize we have it in our hands. I showed that as one of the earliest slides. It's in our hands. We are capable of being able to do this. And the thing is, this will not happen by chance, by accident. It's got to be because of deliberate effort. It's got to be because we systematically put in place certain strategies. That's why we will succeed. Here's a self-inventory teacher's model list of questions. Do I warmly greet each student, whether online or face-to-face? Do I seek other opportunities to connect with each student? Remember one of the slides I showed you earlier from Hal Urban? For education to be effective, it's got to be personal, that we are dealing with a thinking, feeling human being, not just a school, not just a class number, not just one more face in the crowd. Am I well prepared for class and on time? Do I model patience and courtesy even under stress? Do I treat my students, all my students, impartially? Do I challenge all of them? to do their best work. Here's a strategy used by a teacher in order to create a kind and caring classroom. Anonymous compliments. Each student draws the name of a classmate. Then, like you draw um, like a lottery by lottery. By the week's end, the student writes an anonymous compliment about that person that he picked in that lottery, in that draw. About that person on a strip of paper, a compliment, whether it is about his kindness or hard work or being friendly or being always orderly or well groomed, whatever it is, but a compliment, shows it to the teacher, and the teacher will approve if it is going to be put in the compliment box. And then on Friday, the teacher will post all the compliments on the bulletin board. That creates a different atmosphere. Some students will think, wow, I didn't realize people value my being well groomed. I didn't realize people consider me as very friendly and very welcoming. I didn't realize, and all those are what we call reinforcing, character reinforcing good behavior. Or um, the, it's one of the strategies we will learn in class advisory, playing the compliments game. Compliments game. Okay, class, 2 minutes before I dismiss you, let's play the compliments game. And what is the compliments game? For 2 minutes, anybody can raise his hand and compliment someone, compliment another person. In the beginning, maybe not everyone is uh, finds it easy to contribute or to compliment. But as they get it, it becomes a part of their system. Somebody can say, I want to compliment John who lent me a ball pen. I almost did not get to take the exam, but thanks to John. And then an applause for John. Somebody will, I want to compliment the students in charge of cleanliness and order. The classroom today has been very clean, very orderly. An applause for the students. I want to compliment you, sir, because the lesson today was fantastic and the class applause. 2 minutes of students saying good things about each other and expressing gratitude for great things, applauding good deeds and good work, that creates a kind and caring classroom. And it encourages people. And some of them will think, I will do more good deeds to be complimented. Okay, no problem. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, that's better than what happens in other classrooms where students put down each other, tease each other, hurt each other. Another game is peers affirming peers. At the end of the day, before dismissing, the teachers will ask, who saw kindness today? And then you make people describe the kind of action that they saw as kind. Who saw respect today? Who saw determination today? Who saw sharing today? It's fantastic when you have a class affirming each other, complimenting each other, acknowledging the good things that their peers have done. It works. It works. Another strategy, at the start of the day, all students take out their good deeds journal. You make them keep a good deeds journal. And then they make a list. A good deed I did yesterday, and a good deed I will do today. And then some of the students will realize, wow, I never did any good deed yesterday. That's bad of me. I have to do many today. I mean, it's reflection. Remember, yesterday we talked about reflection. The absence of reflection is one of the problems of the young generation today. They do little reflection. This is a good way to make them do reflection. Teaching courtesy. I teach my kids to greet and thank the cafeteria workers. The cafeteria staff say that they always know if it is my students coming to or going to the cafeteria. My students have a very high level of self respect. because of the respect they show to other people. And we'll talk about that especially in the session on advisory. It's the class advisor who is able to create a culture, a sense of a certain way of thinking among the students, by which the students in the classroom become known, gain a certain reputation or prestige in campus, that ladies in the cafeteria will start saying, "I, no wonder he is like that. He belongs to the class of Mrs. Perez, of Mrs. So and so. Of course, he's like that. He belongs to that class of Mr. Reyes, of Mr. So and so." So our students start acquiring a certain reputation. That is what happened to the class of Molly Angelini, a grade 5 teacher. Okay, well, just to end, um, because the problem of bullying is the absence of empathy. And this is the best book I've seen that talks about how to develop empathy among your students, among your children, if you have children. Unselfie by Dr. Michelle Borba, Why Empathetic Kids Succeed in Our All About Me World. And she gives there hundreds of strategies that she was able to pick up. For 10 years, she traveled around the world looking for strategies from teachers and parents on how they develop empathy. Well, we will not be able to cover that now because it is now 4:51 and I should be giving you instructions now on our certificates and all that. No, we are ending. Okay, so then this is, um, as I announced yesterday also, if you need immediately your certificate, because all of you should receive a second certificate. So every session comes with a separate certificate. If you complete the 5 days that we are running this, then you're going to receive 5 certificates indicating 2 hours of international seminar. And if you need it very badly, immediately, please do email me in catalystpds@gmail.com. We did not get to have that. Well, some of you posted some questions along the way, but we did not get to open the floor for questions. As I said also yesterday, if you have questions that you want to ask, that you want me to cover, we'll answer them tomorrow before we get into the topic, um, by sending an email to catalystpds@gmail.com. And as I mentioned earlier, those of you who had problems, and I saw two already saying that they had problems with internet connection, no problem. Go to this Facebook page where you can access the recording of this session that we have today. Um, that's the address, facebook.com/groups/schools of character. No need for the last slash there. Or you can just search it, Schools of Character, and you will be able to see this page. You scroll down, you will see many downloadables, including the PowerPoint presentation that I used today, including the link to the video recording of yesterday's session and of our session today. Tomorrow, we will get into grit, resilience, and empathy, 3 essential virtues for the digital generation. We're going to cover that. For more information about the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Hours, Character Education Partnership Philippines, you can visit our website, characterconferences.com. Fantastic. It's now time. Okay, so um, the question is, are you posting this video in YouTube? Yes. And then the link is going to be shared in the Facebook page. If you don't have Facebook, please email me at catalystpds@gmail.com so I can directly send you the link to the YouTube video. The thing is, it's not public video. It can only be accessed by people who have the link. Okay, it's not monetized. It's not for making money. It's really just to be able to help you, especially for those who encounter difficulties with internet connection along the way, so that we are able to get the most out of our session. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you don't mind. We do our mandatory picture taking. So you can open your videos as I take a picture of page one. Smile in three, two, and one. Let's go to page two. Sorry, there are 6 pages. Please give your biggest, widest, fakest smile. Hello, all the way to Portugal. Nice to see all of you. It's early morning there. Page three in three, two, and smile. And page four, sorry about this. I hope there's a better way of doing it. But anyway, you can open your screen if you want. Page four. And finally, page five. We have the picture of page five and the three, two, and one. Great. Okay, from Portugal, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. I look forward to being able to see you tomorrow when we talk about grit, resilience, and empathy, more strategies for teachers inside a classroom. And I hope this has been a fruitful afternoon for all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will end the meeting in the count of five, four. I think our internet is better today. Thanks God. Three, two. God bless everyone. Please stay safe. Take care of yourself and be healthy. Be happy. Congratulations. You're in the best profession there is. And one. Bye, everyone.